There was an interesting stat at the end of the game. It said, in the Stephen Curry era, the Warriors have never trailed 0-2 in the opening playoff round. And I want to say the series, it might have been just playoffs in general, but I know specifically the first round. So those type of things going into it, I'm just like, yeah, they're probably going to win this one. But then you remember, too, this year, for whatever reason, they haven't been playing great at all on the road. They're more of like at the home, when they're at home at Chase Arena, they do work. They do damage, you know what I'm saying? There was just a bunch of different things going on and like ways you can break everything down. But the fact that they're up 2-0 against the Warriors is crazy. It's crazy to me. I don't know if I'm fully sold 100% to be like, yeah, they're going to go for a sweep on this one. I don't know if I'm fully sold on that, but I will say that I didn't expect them to go 2 up. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hypocritical AF podcast. I'm your host, Albert Fig, and in this week's solo episode, we're recapping a lot of sports stuff right off the top, just to give you a fair warning, and then we'll get into some fun stuff later. But for the most part, and especially at the beginning of this, definitely got to talk about some basketball stuff because we're recording en vivo live from Sacramento, right? And the Sacramento Kings are in the playoffs for the first time in like 16 or 17 seasons, and on top of that, they just so happen to be playing against the Warriors, 2 NorCal teams that not only have never played each other in the playoffs, but also it's historic because it's the first time in NBA history that all 4 or 5, I guess we'll go through them too, all California NBA teams are in the playoffs. So let's recap that one. So you have the Sacramento Kings, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, and the Los Angeles Clippers. So, yeah. 4 California NBA teams in the playoffs, which is crazy, by the way, because I'm a Lakers fan, diehard through and through. So obviously I'm rooting for the Lakers right now. We're in the first round against the Memphis Grizzlies, but I'm kind of torn because I've been a Sac native for almost 10 years now, and I feel like I do root for them when they are playing. I've been to Sacramento King games. I've been to Lakers versus Sacramento King games, and other times when it's just Sacramento Kings, not just the Lakers playing, so I support them in that way. And it's really cool for the city to be active and alive like the way it is, the way they have been, and just seeing how Doko has been, participating and being involved in it. And not just that, but the lighting of the fucking beam, which kudos and shouts out to, I want to say it was the owner and someone else that came up with Light the Beam. Great marketing, by the way. And you could tell the city has definitely been feeding off that energy. And so has the players, which we'll get into that too. But the Sacramento Kings and the Warriors, crazy. It's like the perfect ingredient, like everything you would think for in a playoffs matchup that's NorCal to the fullest, right? Sacramento, San Francisco, literally within less than 2 hours of each other, right? And on top of that, they're both have intermittent fans on both sides. It could be fans locally, fans over there, fans all over California. They can be, divided in both. So it's really cool to see it, to somewhat be a part of that. And I guess just living here and being in the Doko area and near Golden One and everything is really cool to see. Just like the city finally get like their just dues, I guess you would say, And it was definitely earned too. Nothing was just given. You don't finish third in the West just because, or you don't just finish third in the West out of just luck, Like, that shit does not fly. So shout out to the Kings on this one because they just won game 2 against the NBA. NBA, duh. They just won game 2 against the Warriors. And this is not an defeated Warriors by any means. Don't get it twisted. They're the defending champions. Granted, they are older, and the Sacramento Kings their core itself is a little younger, but bro, their playoffs right now are going in hot. I was at the homie Mike's crib watching it, and we was with Natalie and Jeffrey, and they're all Warriors fans, so not one Kings fan was in there. I'm not a Kings fan either. Like I said, I'm a diehard Lakers fan, and so I thought, and we all thought universally, we're just like, realistically, I could see the Warriors winning this one, game 2, just because like how the first game was so close, and you think, okay, They might have got one off, you know what I mean? But the Warriors, they got to bounce back, right? They've never, and there was an interesting stat at the end of the game. It said, in the Stephen Curry era, the Warriors have never trailed 0-2 in the opening playoff round. And I want to say the opening, actually the series, it might have been just playoffs in general, but I know specifically the first round. So those type of things going into it, I'm just like, yeah, they're probably going to win this one. But then you remember, too, this year, for whatever reason, they haven't been playing great at all on the road. They're more of like at the home, when they're at home at Chase Arena, they do work. They do damage, you know what I'm saying? There was just like a bunch of different things going on and like ways you can break everything down. But the fact that they're up 2-0 against the Warriors is crazy. It's crazy to me. I don't know if I'm fully sold 100% to be like, yeah, they're going to go for a sweep on this one. I don't know if I'm fully sold on that, but I will say that I didn't expect them to go 2 up. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Shouts out to the Kings. Shouts out to the city of Sacramento for getting it done so far. You like this little sign? Hell yeah. I'm glad I finally get to put this little sign to use because it's always been there in the back and it never really gets its due diligence. And if you're not watching, you can't see the sign, but definitely do go watch on YouTube. So Sacramento Kings, Golden State Warriors. I could see that going. Honestly, I could see it going to a full 7-game series, which I know no one wants to see, and I get it. And I want to say Sacramento would have the home court advantage, I want to say. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming they will, right? So that's a good-ass series. Lakers, Grizzlies. Lakers won game 1. I want to say game 2 is today that I'm recording. And I don't know how that one's going to play out. I think, and you know what would be really cool? And in an ideal world, the Lakers would advance, Kings would advance, and then somehow through the shuffle, the Kings end up getting in the playoffs with the Lakers. That would be crazy because if you're a fan of basketball and if you're a fan of the Lakers or the Kings or just West Coast in general, or if you're just from Sacramento, there is a long history and lineage of playoff battles between the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers, where they feel like they could have advanced to the finals and got screwed over by the refs. Did they? I don't know. I mean, there's evidence to support that. There's definitely evidence to show that. But the Lakers fan in me is just like, you lost. You lost, okay? Lakers advance. Shaq and Kobe. And, but I could see where y'all coming from. I could see where y'all are coming from. But I say, run it back. Run it back, Run it back to see how it's going to go, to see if you're going to light the beam. You feel me? Speaking about lighting the beam, if you've never seen it in person, you don't get it. Like, you don't get the full diligence of it. You might see photos, you might see videos of it. It's different in person. And when you get like a good view, like a back view of everything, I'm not gonna lie, that shit does look pretty sick. I took Lil Man to see it and he was tripping the fuck out. He was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And right away I thought, this dude is spoiled. Oh, privileged ass. He got to see the beam. Bruh, he's not even 3 years old and he's got to see the beam. Crazy. You know what I mean? I felt bad too because once we brought my little brother out here for his birthday and he had just turned 19 and we were trying to go to Yard House, but it was so fucking packed like in the area because this was like the playoffs hadn't even started yet, but this was, going into the spots where they're just like, all right, they're going to start. Finally, you can kind of see like an early preview of the seating, and the Kings were playing. And then I told my brother, I go, yo, if the Kings win, we'll go eat right there. We'll go eat there in the Doko, right? And if they win, you'll be able to see the beam like right there, So he definitely wanted to go watch that. And it was too fucking packed and the streets were closed off and everything, so we didn't get to go in. So instead of going to Yard House, I took him to Chicago Fire, which is just down the road, It's nothing crazy, but I was just like, it's just a spot to eat right now, if anything. Once we figure out the win, we could just drive near it and you can kind of see it, So he was able to see it because, the Kings ended up winning and he saw it from like a distance. He didn't even see it up close and personal. And I kind of felt bad. I was like, damn, my bad, bro. Like, we tried, It was better than nothing. Plus, it was like late. It was like 10 o'clock at night because, the games over here end really late. And I had Lil Man with me. I had my son with me too. So it was like 10 o'clock at night. Homie's gonna pass out. It's bedtime already, you know? So I was like, just sorry it's from a distance, but we get to drive by and see it like that. So I say all that to say that, man, he didn't even get to see it up close and personal. And Lil Man did, you know? So that's what makes why I say too, like this fool's spoiled ass got to see it, you know? But it's definitely something you guys got to check out. And I could see, people, I guess, I don't know, it feels weird to call them tourists, but people who come visit, that's definitely going to be one thing that you'll see if you look up, like if you go on Google and you type in what to do in Sacramento, that's probably going to be one of the things that'll, in the future going forward will be popped up. It'll say, make sure you go see, catch a Sacramento Kings game. And if they win, they will light the beam. I could see that right now. I'm dubbing it and I'm calling it. It's probably already there too, honestly. I'm not like predicting anything crazy. It's not like you know what I'm saying? It's not like a crazy ass idea to be like, they're definitely going to have that. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing crazy like that, bro. I am tired. Today has been a productive day, an early day, productive day, but a lot going on in the regular life, right? Outside of this podcasting stuff, outside of this thing that you're listening to or watching. Believe it or not, I do have a life outside this, that's not just around podcasting or doing dumb videos and dumb skits and shooting stuff or producing other stuff. Outside of that, bro, I have a regular home, I have a family, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just, it's the squeezing in the time to do all this when you do have the time. But in that too, you get this face right here. This is a look, and this is a face of a man who's tired. You see the bags underneath my eyes and the wrinkles coming in. Let me put things in perspective. It's 7 p.m. I still haven't even showered yet, dog. Nothing crazy, right? It's just I've done worse. You know what I mean? But I still have to finish this. I still have to go inside, close up all this down, clean all this down, shower, and kick it for a little bit too before we carry on with the next day. And this is only Tuesday, which, by the way, I'm late. I'm supposed to be recording on Sundays. Sundays are my recording days that I have set, but I was busy over the weekend, and we were spending time with family and birthday celebrations and everything, to where I didn't get the time to, because we had prior, what would you call them, prior commitment things that we had to settle for and everything, and that's why I didn't record on the Sunday, and that's why I'm recording on the Tuesday, and that's why I'm recording late too. But it's all good, because in that too, I finally get to make even more little adjustments. Every single time I've been recording, if you pay attention to the last week's episode and the week before that too, there's always little things, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that I added this little blue aesthetic suede blanket thingy that's somewhat, I hope it doesn't go unnoticed, because there's a little attention to details, not as long as, but as well as with the getting it done. But that's like the little basketball stuff I want to talk to at the very beginning, get that out the way, and explain why maybe I'm a little tired. It's because of all that, right? So, and this is the third week straight of solo episodes, which is good and bad. No, I'm not going to say bad. It's nothing but good, but it's good because I get to get these out the way. You know what I mean? I get to like talk a little more and it just be on me. Not that it's the most entertaining or anything like that, but I do like the solo ones, but I wouldn't even call it a bad thing, because I didn't schedule, kind of intentionally, but unintentionally, if that makes sense. Kind of intentionally didn't schedule any guests, but it also wasn't really unintentionally, because it's not like I chose specifically and I was like, nope, no guests for the next 3 weeks. It was kind of like I didn't prioritize scheduling it, because I could have, right? I can have guests, but I didn't prioritize that when I was thinking about the next 3 weeks. So that's why just me, and that's why you're getting a lot of this stuff going on. And to let me put a button on the basketball stuff before I forget, because I have it right in front of me. I'm also getting live views of the game too, so that's pretty solid. But while I was watching game 2 between the Kings and the Warriors, one thing to note that we found, like right off the top, was that playoff push, that playoff energy from the jump, from quarter 1 till halftime. We were literally just watching, being like, yo, they are going at it. Like, this is playoff basketball for sure. Like, this there wasn't no rest points. Like they were going at it, both physically, both on both ends of the court, defense and offense. They was going in, bro. And we were just like, man, how long are they going to be able to keep up this pace? Is it going to go on to the fourth quarter? Who is it going to favor? I'm assuming it's going to favor the Kings because, the Warriors are a little bit older. So it was like they're really going at it. And then they started getting physical, you know what I mean? Which is like playoff basketball type of stuff. And it started getting, a little chirpy, a little chippy at the end, especially with Draymond getting ejected. And then, you know what I'm saying? Sabonis getting that technical foul for holding that ankle. And then Draymond doing the fucking D-Lo stomps on him. D-Lo. Only reason why I say that too is because I was watching a bunch of memes on it and the shit was hilarious, by the way. Some people are creatively funny. I can only hope to inspire to be that like that one time. But I will say I did shoot the little fucking skit, and if you haven't seen these little skits, they're so dumb, bro. Like the intentions on it were not to. This is like the second time I've done the skits, right? But I actually have done one prior too. So this is why on the caption I had said part 2 of that, because the first time around it was just I had time, right? I had time to do it, and we were on, what was it? There was something, I don't know if it was some maybe isolation, or I forget what it was, but I remember I had time to do it, and I didn't really know much about. I still was really early, still really really green when it comes to like the production stuff on it. So you can definitely see like how amateurish it was. I mean, it just didn't look the best. The audio wise wasn't the best. Even this one, I'm not saying this is grand, right? I'm not a fucking director, but I shot this little thing, and it's how can I explain them? The intent in them, or I guess the goal for them, wasn't to be. I'm not looking for like a viral moment, you know what I mean? Which is kind of like opposite thinking if you really think about like how, you want to advance this stuff and the reach and stuff you want to get seen. But not everything looks for that. And I know the reason why I say it's backwards thinking is because a lot of times you hear people saying like, they are looking for that viral moment. They're looking for that thing that's going to give them the most reach and the most exposure. And they intentionally trying to find that thing that's going to, essentially give them that viral moment, right? So I'm not searching for that. I just was trying to have fun with something, try to do something different. And so I created these characters and these different personalities and shot this little thing. And the first one was the podcast promotional skit, right? Like, essentially, it's like the idea of it was I'm going to have a marketing meeting or promotional thing and just bring in different characters, and we're going to kind of pitch about like what can we do to improve the podcast, but knowing that it's not really going to improve the podcast, but be funny in it, but make fun of it, and then being like, we did nothing at the end, you know what I mean? So that was the first time. And then the second time around, I just had I had extra time in my hands. I had just got done recording an episode, and I was like, okay, while I'm editing, while I'm doing this, like I still was in like the studio. Like I didn't go inside to like watch movies or like, just mess around or like be on social media or whatever. I was like, let me just do some stuff. So then I was like, I haven't done one of these in a minute. So let me just shoot a little skit thing right here, And yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I got some clothes and just kind of did the same type of format thing in the same way that I did last time before, but now knowing a little bit more, I tried to improve the video aspect of it. I try to improve the audio aspect of it, transitions, background sounds, and little small little details that goes a long way. It's like that cheeseburger with the flag. You know what I mean? Shout out to Miss Nolte. It's like that type of thing. And I shot that little thing, bro. Listen, I for one, I am not an actor, right? Believe it or not, I am not Denzel Washington. I'm not Leonardo DiCaprio, and I'm not Tobey Maguire, right? I could barely even recite some lines. But I say all that to say, I did that I shot that on my iPhone, and I shot that in less than 30 minutes. I'm talking about setting up whatever, but switching people and like I didn't have any lines written down. I kind of just shot that on the fly. Now, granted, there was a lot of takes and a lot of editing too. I kind of just was like set, shoot, and now just run with it and kind of pick whatever lines I want to pick and kind of bolt them together. You know what I mean? And overall, it's like 1 minute and 15 seconds, and Yeah, they're fun. I could see myself doing more of those and maybe incorporating some people too, and maybe trying a different format type of thing. So, you know what I'm saying? So if y'all can or y'all want, go check. If you want like to laugh at something and be like, this was either stupid, this is either funny, or he's wasting his time. Either way, go check that out on my Instagram. You can see a little marketing and promotional skit for the podcast. So definitely want to take into more of those. But for the fights, not the fight, sorry. But I know I said I was going to put a button on it, and I'm going to put a button on it right now, I swear, which was Draymond Green getting ejected and all that stuff. And all the stuff surrounding on it, like, did he stomp? Was it intentional? Blah, blah, blah. My takeaway from that was, bruh, don't suspend him for like another game or so, right? Now, granted, if you're a Kings fan, you're probably hating this right now and you don't want to hear this, and I get it. But it's like, he got ejected at the game with 7 minutes left and y'all won. Like, okay, call it like what it is. Y'all won, and then just keep it moving forward and bring him back the next one. And if you that, you know what I'm saying? If you're that dog, if y'all are that dog that y'all say you are, I'm speaking like, you know, if I'm talking to the Kings, then you shouldn't trip whether he doesn't have, you know, whether he's there playing or not. Come pull up and show out the next game and see if y'all can light that motherfucking beam. Light the beam. Light the beam. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion on that. Look at me. I don't have any horses in this race. You know what I'm saying? It's either, and then they're both, you know, they're both NorCal teams. Like, all right, cool. You know, like whichever one. I just know that if y'all do have to, or not, if y'all meet us in the playoffs, meaning the Lakers, oh, bruh, y'all probably win. I'm not gonna lie right now. We're playing pretty sorry. But if we do play, best believe I'm gonna root for the fuck out of them. Anyway, moving past that to another potential sport. I mean, not potential, but to another sport, which is football. There's some good news right here. It says, back at it, Damar Hamlin is officially fully cleared to resume football. Now, here's one. This is actually a good, hypocritical, reasonable topic to jump into right away. Damar Hamlin, hypocritical. Not him. I'm going to say the people clearing him. Is it hypocritical or reasonable? Now, let me get some backstory on this one. So Damar Hamlin plays for the Buffalo Bills. I forget his exact position, but I know it's something on defense, I want to say, right? And if you guys remember, they're playing the opening round. Was it the opening round? Or I forget when exactly it was. I guess I can look that up right here because I have a laptop right in front of me. But basically, it was a game, and he got hit. Like, the dude's shoulder hit him directly, like, at a perfect spot on his chest to where he's got, like, an arrhythmic heartbeat or something skipped for a second. I don't know what it was. And then he ended up just passing out and, like, had to be resuscitated, and his heart literally stopped and was in a coma for, like, 2 weeks or something like that. And so it was cardiac arrest on the football field. Crazy freaking time. Very scary moment. And I know everybody was like kind of lost for words at the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the background story on that. Now, the medically clearing him, is it hypocritical or reasonable to medically clear him to go back to football, right? Why would I even include that in a hypocritical or reasonable? Because let's start off why it would be hypocritical of them to do that. I don't know if it would be or not because they've done it so many times in the past, right? They're just getting cleared, and it depends on who's clearing them. Is it the team's doctors? Is it their local city doctors? You know, who obviously, you know, for sports, it's like a team that when a team is doing good, the whole city benefits, right? Economically, just so many different reasons why it gets better for them. And maybe, you know, they could have some what the hell, I'm reading some stuff right now, sorry. Maybe it'd be beneficial for them, you know, to get them cleared, and, you know, maybe there might be some people in their pockets. I don't know. I'm not trying to, you know, start some stuff, but maybe there might be some stuff, some being like, you know, like, hey, here's this cool little $1,000,000, $500,000. Just say he's good to return, you know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know. listen, I'm just a dude talking on a podcast. How the fuck do I know, right? But I could see why that is. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if it would be hypocritical because they've done it before. But on what terms would it be? Is it morally hypocritical? I don't know. Or is it reasonable? Is it reasonable for them to be like, if they have a strategy, if they have these protocols, right? They have steps that'd be like, all right, once you clear step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's pretty black and white. Are you cleared or you're not? Did you pass them? Yes. How's your vision? How's your head? What's the concussion protocol like? What's, you know what I'm saying? If they do all these tests and stuff like that, who's to say that they can or cannot clear and go back, right? It's reasonable if they say you did this, this, and that, especially if homie wants to come back, right? But wouldn't that defeat the purpose of a medical team and be like, no, you can't because this is life threat? Well, I don't know, because then either way, you get that, you understand that going into it, right? You know that it's life threatening. You know that every single time you're in there, you run. It's like boxing, right, or MMA or fighting in general. Everybody knows what they sign up for, right? The risks are always there. Same thing with football, especially with like people in CTE now being a thing, right? So I don't know if it would be hypocritical or reasonable. I would say it's reasonable because it's just sports, bro. That's just the nature of sports. Once motherfuckers get that clearance, then they get the clearance. Then that's kind of like what it's like. Like I said, that's just sports in general. But what I was gonna get to right now. Oh, so I'm not a big series dude. I'm not a big like this new show or new series. Like I prefer movies, and I actually prefer watching repetitive stuff and going back and watching the same stuff. Like I can't even tell you off the top of my head. It's like how many times I could watch Big Daddy. Big Daddy is one of my favorite movies of all time. Top five for sure. I can literally watch that movie so many times and still laugh at the same scenes and still want to watch it every single time because that's how much I enjoy it. I'll choose watching movies over and over again, classic ones, not just every movie, classic movies, than trying to pick up a new series. That's just me. I don't know why. But there is a new series. It's a 4-part episode. Not really, that's say series. 4-part episode that just came up on Netflix that I'm just halfway through on number 1. Wait, let me backtrack before I get into the Netflix one. Let me talk about this Hulu one. Damn it. Okay, so I'm wanting to catch up on Dave Hulu or FX, whatever. But season 3 is out. I like Dave season 1. I'm halfway through season 2. I need to finish season 2 before I officially start season 3. And I like season 2 so far. It's just different. The dynamic is different from the first one, which is cool and not so cool depending on how you look at it. But I'm interested to see the way this season 2 is going to end out and play out, and then going into season 3, how that's going to also play out. But I'm a fan of Dave. I'm a fan of the show, of the executive producers, and what it's been like so far. So I'm excited for that one. But going to the Netflix thing it's this Unabomber thing, bro. Like, let me put a button on this one to find this one right here. Netflix. Oh, it's Manhunt. Manhunt. Unabomber. No, not Unabomber. Damn it, Boston Bomber. And I'm halfway through episode 1. And it's going to be cool to finish it. I don't want to say it's 4 episodes, but I bring that on to say, where were you during this Boston Marathon bombing in 2013? I'll tell you exactly, and we'll wrap up with this because I'm kind of close to the 30-minute mark. And we'll wrap up with this. Sorry if it wasn't too funny. I'm tired. We'll wrap up with this. So I remember exactly where I was at when this had popped up in the news and everything. I was still in the military, and I remember some of the people that were in my platoon and in the company, a few of them were from Boston or Massachusetts in general, right? And I remember when that happened, it was like they all had to make a couple of phone calls, right? Understandably so. They all had to make phone calls to check on their families, members, and everything. And I remember we were down like in the the basement area near the locker rooms where, you know, some people will put their stuff at and change it in between PT and regular formations and the rest of the day. And is also, where maybe I shouldn't say too much stuff about it, but it's just a basement area, right? So I remember uh, people calling to checking in, and I remember there was like a moment where it was just like we were watching the stuff on TV, and I remember there was a moment, same thing similar to when we got the news about Osama, like that he had, been got, you feel me, dealt with. There was a moment where like everybody kind of came together, like in the military, right? So it was kind of similar to that too. It was when all the details, well, at that time, as much as it was coming out, when the details started coming out that there was like bombing, and then they started considering it like a terrorist attack and everything. I remember there was like a moment of, not, I'm not gonna say solidarity, but I remember there was a moment where everybody collectively was kind of like, oh, okay, like, oh yeah, yeah, like this shit's probably gonna pop off. Like we're probably gonna have to go here. It's probably gonna be another this and that. And I remember everybody also was just like, nah, fuck these dudes. Like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a weird, understandable thing that was like going on. And maybe not everybody was getting the same vibe as me. Maybe not everybody was thinking like that. But I remember the group, I guess that little circle that I was with, and like I said, because a few of them were guys from Massachusetts and Boston area, and they were just like, oh nah, like yeah, yeah, we rolling, like that type of shit. Like it was almost like a damn near scene from a movie. And I thought that was really cool. And like I said, the only thing that I can kind of remember, because I wasn't in that fucking long ago, and I also wasn't that in there for that long. But I remember something similar was that news about Obama once he got. I remember we want to go watch that movie, SEAL Team, the movie was, it was SEAL Team 6 or fucking whatever it was. But I remember in the movie theater when they got him, I remember everybody in there was just that was clapping, was just cheering. They were just like, yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of something similar like that, but the opposite. It was just kind of like, fuck these fools, you know what I mean? Like it's about to go down. And yeah, funny story on that one. So I don't know why I made me think about that, but I'm excited to finish watching that one. But let me know too, like, am I tripping on the movies over the shows of the series? Y'all let me know. What are some other good shows or good series? I find myself, if and when I do watch series or shows, I find myself going to watching like almost like murder docs. Yeah. Like from like recaps of historic murder docs or murders, I guess. I find myself watching those. What am I into? Damn, does that say something about me? Bro. Anyway, let me know. Sacramento Kings, good luck. Light the beam. Turn up. Oh my God. Okay. New episodes every Wednesday. Check out the skit. Y'all stay safe. Guest oriented these next couple ones. I promise you'll get enough of me. All right. Peace.